Hello everyone, my name is Yolanda and today I'm going to talk about spaying and neutering your pets. If you don't know who Betty White is, she's an actress, a comedian, an icon, a national treasure, and I absolutely adore her. And one of the things I like most about her is she's a huge animal rights activist. She said, and I quote, "If everyone took personal responsibility for their animals, we wouldn't have a lot of the animal problems that we do. I'm a big spay and neuter supporter. Don't have babies if you're not going to take care of those babies. We don't need more. We just need to take care of the ones we have. Take personal responsibility and breathe kindness." Whether you believe in spaying and neutering your pets or not, you need to take into account how your pets are going to live their life and how it's going to be beneficial to them. Spaying and neutering pets has both health and societal benefits that can lessen the homeless animal population as well as give animals a longer lifespan. I will explain why spaying and neutering pets is the best way to give back to the animal world, as well as give insight on why I'm so passionate about this subject. First, I will discuss the statistics of the homeless animal population. Second, I will inform you all on the benefits of spaying and neutering. Many animals are brought into shelters for a number of reasons. Most of it is because they are brought in from off the streets. Animal control finds them all over the place without homes. They are starving, desperate, just looking for food and someone to love. And also they're brought in because owners just give them up. And there are approximately 2.7 million cats and dogs that are euthanized every year because shelters are too full and there are not enough adoptive homes. And overpopulation is mainly due because owners are letting their pets accidentally or intentionally reproduce. There are many benefits of spaying and neutering. It increases the health of the animal. They will have a longer lifespan. They will be less aggressive, decreasing the number of animals injured or killed in fights. And it also decreases the number of diseases an animal can accumulate, thus giving the animal a healthier outcome in life. And I was talking about overpopulation. With spaying and neutering, the animal will no longer feel the need to mate, and they will no longer feel the need to mark territory, and this will decrease the number of animals looking for another place to mark and essentially claim their territory. My pet will gain weight. The only way your pet would gain weight is if they don't get the proper nutrition and diet, or if they don't get the proper exercise that they need. Well, it will cause behavioral changes. The only behavioral changes would be that, like I said, they would decrease the need to mark territory and be aggressive towards other animals entering their territory. And it would also decrease the need to mount people or objects or other animals. It's not healthy for my pet. It is very healthy for your pet. It will prevent testicular cancers in males and uterine infections and breast tumors in females. Well, the operations are too expensive. My animals are all spayed or neutered. I found a free voucher program that allowed me to get my animals fixed for free. If you are, if you cannot afford it, mostly there are low cost programs out there for you to find. You just need to do the proper research. Well, neutering my animal will decrease his manhood. Your animal, your male animal, he has no concept of ego, and they have no concept of a sexual identity. Males and females will no longer go into heat, and it also decreases their need to roam. Some of you are probably thinking, well, what does she know? How do you know about all of this? I have a lot of experience working with homeless animals in shelters. I worked at the Pasadena SPCA and Humane Society. I cleaned cages and kennels. I bathed the animals and I walked dogs, and I saw how sad some of them looked because they either came from the streets or their animal parents had a litter, and the human parents couldn't take care of them, so they just gave them to the shelter. It's pretty heartbreaking to see that happen, and I feel it's unnecessary. We can't have that many animals in a shelter without homes. It's almost cruel, I believe. And also, all of my cats, I've only ever owned cats, but all of them were rescues and former strays, such as Munchie and Shiva. Shiva, rest his soul, was 17 when he passed of old age. And I pet sat them because they belonged to a group of friends of mine who were in a band and would go on tour every now and then. So when they would go on tour, I cat sat for them. I took care of them while they were away. And when they would come back on tour, they would pick them up and take them home. And then they started getting more popular. My friends started getting more popular, so they would go on tour more often. And they found themselves thinking, well, I can't be away from my pet so long. It's hard for me to take care of them. And they didn't want to take them to a shelter. Who wants to take their beloved pets to a shelter? They don't know if they're going to get another home. They don't know if, God forbid, they get euthanized because it's too full. Shelters are too full. So I stepped in and I said, I'm going to take them. So I adopted them, and they were with me ever since 2004. Shiva passed away in 2017. I want to say 18. I think it was early 2018, and they are both wonderful. Shiva was wonderful. He was an amazing cuddler. But then I had Lucifer. Lucifer was a cat that my grandfather took in from the streets, fed him, took care of him, and then when my grandfather passed away, I took over care for Lucifer, and he passed away at the age of 16. Then came Abby. Abby was the first cat that I took in by myself, and she was an amazing cat. She got old. She passed away at the age of 17. Was a wonderful cat, just liked to lounge around and be loved. Next was Oreo. It was a black and white cat who came in emaciated and tired, and took him to the vet, had him looked over. All he needed was food and a place to sleep. So I took him in, and he passed away at the age of 16, I think it is. And then came Pokey. Pokey was the same thing. He came in emaciated and looking for a stable place to stay. And he turned out to be the funniest little lounger. All he does is just sit in the sun, and he plays around a lot. He's 4 years old now. I've had him for a few years now. I think he was about 2 or so when I got him, and he's amazing. And then the most recent one I took in is Monkey. He's a black and white kitty. He's 2 years old now. I found him when he was about, I want to say a month, maybe 3 weeks old. He was just this tiny little cat who just sat there. I found him one night. He sat there. He was just looking around, and he was just like, oh my God, what do I do? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know where my mother is. I think he was abandoned by his mother because I think he was the runt of the litter. And I took him in. The next day he was still there, so I told my mom, and she was just like, all right, if he's there the next day, then he's ours. So he's ours. Like all the cats that I wandered in. Him and Pokey are like two peas in a pod. They love each other. They're constantly grooming each other. They play together. They lounge around in the sun together, and it's amazing to know that they're happy. They're healthy. And speaking of Pokey, I think he was abused because he won't go near any type of flame or smoke, and it's sad to think that it might have traumatized him that much. But now both of them are just so happy, and it brings a lot of joy to myself in thinking that, well, they have a home, and all of my cats are spayed and neutered, all of them, because I didn't want them roaming around, making babies and thinking, oh my gosh, there's babies. If they bring them over to my house, what am I going to do? I don't know how many there could be. It just seemed unnecessary. I can't afford a litter of cats, so it was important for me to have them spayed and neutered right off the bat. I got Pokey neutered when he was with me for about 3 months, and I got Monkey neutered when he turned 6 weeks, because that's what my veterinarian told me, bring the cat in when he's about 6 weeks old, and then he's allowed to get neutered. So I think that's important for people to know that it's not right to create a situation that is unnecessary. There are cats out there, there are dogs out there who are not fixed, and then they create this huge population of animals that has nowhere else to go. So I do have quite the experience in dealing with homeless animals, and I just wish this problem would be able to be resolved. So I hope that by explaining the statistics, the myths about spaying and neutering, and just giving you my experience about homeless animals and stray cats and the dogs and cats that don't have homes, this will change people's opinions about spaying and neutering. And I just want to reiterate the fact that I have no problem with breeding, because I know certain breeders out there, they have very concise guidelines, and they know what they're doing, and they scrutinize adopters to make sure they go to the right homes. I have no problem with that at all. I'm talking to the people who don't think that spaying, neutering is right to do, or the ones that just let their animals roam free or dump them on the streets. So I really hope this changed a lot of opinions. So thank you.